Hi, this is Shotgun Tom Kelly, and now that I have your attention, you wanted to be close to him in the dugout during his impressive 15-year Major League career because he was always watching, listening, and looking for an edge. Now, Kurt Bavacqua brings that edge to Dirty Kurt's Dugout, where you can listen, watch, and be a part of the most honest, informative baseball show available today. Now, here's Kurt.
What's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. Baseball lost a player who I consider one of the greatest guys in the history of game today when Tommy Davis passed away earlier. Two-time National League batting champion and as good a person as you will ever meet. I met Tommy actually more through golf than baseball, as strange as that may seem. But I started inviting him to a golf tournament that I had for Children's Hospital back in the 80s. And that's how we became friends. Tommy Davis, 83 years young, passes away. I know any Dodger fan that, any fan, doesn't even have to be a Dodger fan, any baseball fan that got an opportunity to meet him will say the same thing about him that that I'm saying. He was just a great guy. I mean, he really was. So all kinds of bad news today. Greg Cole says the Giants signed Michael Conforto. Wonder why the Padres were not interested in this guy. They have a vacancy in their outfield, in left field in particular, and Conforto would have fit in rather nicely. There was a question about his shoulder. Supposedly he injured it earlier this year, and I'm talking about in the January timeframe, and he didn't want to talk to ball clubs until he knew that it was 100%. And that's one of the reasons that Scott Boras has held him back for this long. But he signs with the Giants today, so they strengthen themselves a little bit, and life goes on in Padre camp. I'll tell you about a player that the Padres acquired just here in a minute, but I want to send a shout out to Hacienda Casablanca and also to Tom Drake and the good folks at Lacima Oil for their continued support of this show. Hacienda, if you're wondering, is at 700 North Johnson in El Cajon. Cindy and Tony are great folks, make a great Mexican meal, and I know one of my favorites is a wet burrito. So I learned that from Joe, the producer. He said, order it wet. I go, why? Just do it. It's good. Okay. Well, if you've paid attention to the show, I'm going to point out a couple of things that I pointed out last week. But in saying that, I'm also going to talk about the $100 gas card that will be given out next show based on something that was said either by me or one of the guests that I've had. It could have been Boomer Wells. I'm trying to think of who was on before Boomer. I can't remember. It's tax season. I've got a deposition I have to do on Wednesday, so give me a break here. Oh, hey, everybody go on. Yeah, the Garv too. So the Garv was on, but that was like 4 shows ago. So Garv's old. He's old news. We'll take something on Boomer's show. Yeah, that's my guess. Dick Drago, hey buddy, my old roommate in Kansas City. Tommy Davis played in Kansas City also a couple of years after I left there. I don't know if you were still there, Dick, but I think you had gone to the Red Sox by then. I think TD was in Kansas City in 1976. You talk about a good person. I tell you what, Tommy Davis was the guy that you wanted up if there was a run batted in that you needed. This guy's run batted in percentage versus hits is phenomenal. I actually prided myself on what Tommy Davis had done in the big leagues because I had seen that stat on him getting into Major League Baseball, and I went, God, how can a guy have that many hits and half as many RBIs? I mean, you don't come up with men on base in every position, in every time you come to the plate in scoring position, and it's just a difficult thing. Terrence pointed out that 153 RBIs. I'm going to talk about a guy that had a lot of RBIs in 1 year. As a matter of fact, he's in a Dodger uniform, and I'm still going to talk about him because he needs to be talked about. But yeah, Tommy Davis had 153 RBIs in 1962. That's a phenomenal amount of RBIs, no matter how many games you play. But one of the things that I was going to throw out there, and I know we get different viewers and different listeners and everything every show, but in case you didn't hear, in minor league baseball this year, they're moving second base in. So directly in. So in other words, if you're standing on home plate and you're looking out at center field and there's second base, it's going to come directly towards the plate and the pitcher's mound, the pitching rubber. So they're not moving it closer to first or closer to second. They're moving it straight in. Therefore, it'll be the same distance from first base as it will from second to third. 87 feet. First base to second base is now going to be 87 feet. And of course, the same being said as second to third. And I know a lot of you out there, you crazy? What happened in 90? They're moving it in 3 feet? What happened in 90 feet? I tell you what, this shocked me a week or so ago. I was going to say a couple of days, but it's been a week now. The base was never 90 feet. I know. I don't know what to tell you. I never thought to measure it. Never even entered my mind. I never measured a pitching rubber from the mound to home plate, 60 feet, 6 inches. But they tell me, they being the powers that be, that first to second has always been 88.5 feet. Same being said from second to third. So they're moving it in a foot and an inch and a half. Plus, They're increasing the bases from 15 inches to 18 inches. So that's another 3 inches. Let's see how this shakes out. I don't really think it's going to be a big difference. Will there be another stolen base or two? Yeah. But who's stealing bases anyway in this day and age of the game? Not too many people. So I said I was going to talk about trades, Padre trades. If you just got back in town and you've been on a trip, the Padres acquired left-handed pitcher Sean Manaea. As a matter of fact, they acquired him on a day or the day before he was scheduled to pitch against the San Diego Padres, Manaea being with the Oakland A's. So what happens? He puts on a Padre uniform and he takes the mound against his old team, the Oakland A's. So he's traded one day and pitches against them the next. He was scheduled to start against the Padres, but instead he starts for the Padres against the Oakland A's. Hey, this guy's a workhorse. If we can find out what's going on with Clevenger, which I'm not sure we're getting the right information, but they say he's got a knee injury, so I'm going to believe him. Manaea had 32 starts last year, 170 plus innings. Guys that throw 170 innings nowadays, they're workhorses. 170 innings 25 years ago for a starter was so-so. So now you throw him in the mix with Darvish, Musgrove, Snell. I said Clevenger, but it looks like he might be starting the season on an IL. I keep wanting to say DL because I can see why they might have changed the name, but DL, it was DL for a long time. But, and then you've got Manaea. And Mackenzie Gore gives up a grand slam yesterday and probably his final outing of the spring, which, God, I hate to say it put a damper on an outstanding spring, but, it's the last thing you remember. As good as he's pitched this spring, the last inning he's pitching, he gives up a grand slam home run, and that's what everybody's going to remember. That stinks. But I think he's going to be on this ball club. There was talk a couple of weeks ago, Bob Melvin saying a six-man rotation is not out of the question. I don't think they have a six-man rotation now because of Clevenger being down, but Mackenzie Gore fits in there somewhere. So does Nick Martinez, who's done very well. We thought Weathers and Paddock were going to be guys that were going to compete for that fifth spot. I don't see that happening. I think Paddock's going to pitch out of the bullpen. Weathers is gone. They sent him to a minor league camp for reassignment. He'll probably pitch in El Paso. And the catchers. You know what? They're competing, folks. This Alfaro guy, that's a good player right there. A guy with some major league experience. Then you've got Caratini, who caught most of the time last year because of Nola's injury. And then you've got Luis Campuzano, who is a highly regarded prospect. There's no way there's room for four catchers on this team. They're going to probably carry three. I can't see him getting rid of Jorge Alfaro with the spring that he had, or send him anywhere. And Austin Nola is probably going to be the starter. And then you got Caratini, who's swinging the bat really, really well. Is he going to hit 300 during the course of the season? Probably not. But this guy's a veteran. He's a good presence behind the plate. And he's a good guy to have on the team, which is important. Speaking of good guys to have on the team, you guys remember a guy by the name of Chase Headley? Going back a few years. See if we can pull up a mugshot of him. And there he is. This guy was a pretty good player. Pretty good player. In 2012, he was 5th in the MVP voting, drove in 115 runs, and played in 161 games. And you know what? He was never able to live up to that year again. Nope. He's never able to live up to it. And you guys, yeah, I'm talking not necessarily the people that watch this show, because you're not the social media instigators out there that give guys crap all the time. And for the most part, don't know what they're talking about. But you never let Chase Headley live it down that he never had another year like 2012. Well, you know who you're doing the same thing to now? Yeah, I said you. Eric Hosmer. This guy's just a couple of batting points last year off his career totals. If it's about the money, when you say something, post something, do a video, or get your 2 cents in, it doesn't belong there, about this guy or any other player for that matter, get your facts together. Was he giving up too much money? Did the Padres give up too much money? Who's to say? I truly believe that because of social media and because of the media creates so much crap in sports nowadays because everybody's out there trying to get a piece of the action. We don't have beat writers anymore. And I'll give you an example of exactly what I'm talking about in a minute. Because you don't know what it is to going into the clubhouse every day or to being home at night and seeing somewhere that you're going to be traded. For all of you people out there that have never thought about it, just sit back for a minute and think about it. Whatever job you have, you're going to go home tonight and you're going to look at Twitter and you're going to see that you're being reassigned to Des Moines, Iowa. or that's the rumor. And your wife goes, well, what are we going to do? And you go, I don't know. We're going to have to go. I want to continue to do what I'm doing and get paid because I'm contractually obligated. So we're going to go. Well, what are we going to do about the kids in school? What are we going to do about moving? What are you going to do about all of that? Because we don't think about that. Now, I'm not going to say we. I'm not putting myself in your category. You don't think about that. Example, Emilio Pagan, which was one of the names that was bantered about in this latest trade rumors that was going on with the Pittsburgh Pirates for Brian Reynolds. It was supposed to be Hosmer, Emilio Pagan, and someone else. Doesn't matter. Pagan's wife and 2 young daughters and their dog are on their way to Arizona. Yesterday, when all of a sudden it comes out that Pagan is part of this trade rumor. Does that matter to you people? Have you ever thought about that before? Or is it just about this guy's overpaid because I only make $18 an hour and he's skilled enough to have negotiated a $144 million contract? Is that what's pissing you all off? Because you don't know how difficult it is to play the game of baseball in all different kinds of ways. 162 games in 181 days. Playing when you're not 100% all the time. I take that back. Not all the time. 100% when you're not feeling 100% some of the time, because you're not going to feel 100% all of the time. It's a grind. It's grueling. And don't take that personally, Terrence. I was talking about the people who don't think about things. You do. But they don't think about the player and everything that stacks up when somebody's traded. I'll tell you a little story. 1980. I'm leading the National League in pinch hitting, hitting some stupid amount, 429 or something like that. And the Padres signed Jack McKeon. Well, Jack loved to trade me. He did it quite a few times. I love Jack too. McKeon signs, general manager. Guess what? Yep, we're on a road trip. I get a call after a doubleheader in Cincinnati at 2 o'clock. It wasn't even 2 o'clock. It's like 2:30 in the morning. Hey, Kurt, Trader Jack. I don't even know what I thought when I heard his name. Just traded you to the Pirates. They want you in Chicago for the game tomorrow. So meet Matai at the front desk at 6:15 in the morning. Your plane leaves at 6:45 or 7:45. And, oh, what about all my baseball gear? And we got that for you. They went over to the riverfront and got my baseball gear. I mean, we had just got, I swear to you, it hadn't been an hour and 15 minutes since the game was over. I'm no longer a San Diego Padre. I'm a Pittsburgh Pirate. My family's in San Diego. I'm on the last leg of a 9-game road trip. Next to the last day of the trip. Now I'm on my way to Chicago, to Wrigley Field to play for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are in a completely different division, who have already made the West Coast trip once, and they're not scheduled to make it again until September. So here it is, July. I'm on a 9-game road trip. Instead of going back west with the team, I'm going more east, because when they get through with Chicago, they're going back to Pittsburgh. You people don't think about that stuff. Two and a half months. I lived in a lot of the clothes that I brought on that Red Strip or Riverfront trip, along with St. Louis, and I can't even remember where the other town was. But I didn't see San Diego until September with the Pirates. Yeah, we don't need to see that. Oh, bad hairdo. So I want to point that stuff out to you so that you think a little more. And you know what? If you don't like a guy, I don't have a problem with that. You know, I questioned Hosmer's footwork at first base a few times last year. It still blows me away that here's a guy that's won 4 Gold Gloves, and his footwork at first base is terrible at times. But if you notice, a lot of the throws that he doesn't get to that he should have, or at least in my regard should have, the errors are given to somebody else. Therefore, affording him Gold Gloves. Now, not all. But I got to stick up for this guy because it's tough. It's tough. And everybody wants to blow him out of town. And Will Myers is another one. You haven't let up on this kid in the last 3 years. And all he's done is move from the outfield to another outfield position, to first base, to third base. These position changes are not overnight things. You've got to work hard on them. And when you do, it affects other parts of your game. And when you talk about a guy, and I'm back at Hosmer now, that is 7-8 points off his career high last year, and everybody's bitching and moaning about it. Okay, down a little bit on home runs, but you also have to consider where he's hitting in the lineup. And more importantly, who's hitting behind him. Am I pointing the finger here? No. If Tony Gwynn, God rest his soul, was alive today, he would tell you that Alan Wiggins probably added 20 or 30 points to his batting average when he hit behind him. Well, I'd venture to guess that Hosmer would hit 20 points higher if he was hitting in front of Machado and Tatis. Because you got to give certain guys in the lineup pitches to hit. And then you can pitch around other guys. That's why I love Tatis at the top of the lineup. Because with Grisham or whoever's going to hit in the second spot, Cronenworth, and then you've got Machado, and then you've got maybe Voit, and then you've got Hosmer or Myers, Tatis is going to get balls to hit. They don't want to walk him. You don't want to walk the leadoff man. Point that I'm trying to make is that where you hit in the lineup is really, really important. And who's hitting behind you and how well they're swinging the bats. You know, if you think it's easy to hit in the big leagues, pick up your phone and call Cody Bellinger. (2017) Rookie of the Year. 2019 National League Most Valuable Player. 47 home runs. And 115 RBIs or so. This kid can't hit anymore. It's gotten so bad that I'm feeling sorry for him. And I don't feel sorry for too many hitters, especially on opposing teams. But you can just tell that it's completely gotten to Cody Bellinger's head. And I hope he comes out of it soon. I don't want him to come out of it against San Diego Padres, but I do want him to come out of it because he's a good kid. And he doesn't deserve what he's having to go through now. And you know what? He's taking it like a man. I mean, I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. He might be breaking clubhouses apart that we don't know about or we don't hear about. But we hear about everything else in the media. The media need to stop it. They need to quit reporting every single thing that doesn't matter. Perfect example. After it was known the other day that Pittsburgh deal was off, it must have been pretty close for them to have been where they were. It was reported by a Padre beat writer who, you know what? A Padre beat writer can report those things. But I don't want Bob Nightingale or Ken Rosenthal or John Heyman or Passan or one of those guys reporting the fact that they saw Eric Hosmer going upstairs to the Padres executive offices. What's the first thing you're going to think about? There he goes again, upstairs crying about being traded, not wanting to be traded. Well, maybe he was. Maybe he wanted to find out where him and his family's going to be or what they got scheming now. Because evidently he went up and talked to A.J. Preller. That didn't need to be reported. Because nobody knows for sure who he saw. He might have just went upstairs, sat in the office on a couch, wanted to get away, and was texting back and forth with his wife for an hour. Nobody knows. But they assume. Because if you remember last year, after the Machado Tatis incident took place in a dugout on the road, there was all kinds of speculation about two of the high-end players going up and complaining all the time, or making their minds be heard about what was going on down in the clubhouse to the Padre front office. But nobody ever said, what office? Did they go up and talk to Preller? Did they go up and talk to Seidler? You would think they're not going to go to Seidler, because that's going to make Preller look bad. Or did Hosmer go to Seidler and it pissed Preller off? And now he's got Seidler on his side to go along with the trade because of Hosmer's supposed down years since he's come over from Kansas City. We need to get rid of this guy. We need to get rid of this contract. If they're trying to get rid of a contract, that's fine. But don't blame it on a player's performance that, for the most part, is doing pretty well. Speaking of performances, two guys that I think are going to battle it out for American League Rookie of the Year award this year, Julio Rodriguez for the Mariners and Bobby Witt Jr. for the Kansas City Royals, both announced that these guys are going to break with the major league teams on opening day. So congratulations to both of those. I've been saying for the last few weeks or month, for as long as you can hear me, that I think these guys have got a good chance for Rookie of the Year award. Well, they're breaking with the club. They've got a real good chance now because they'll both probably start. I'm not even going to talk about Trevor Bauer. It's useless. I will say this about Trevor Bauer, because nothing's come down about him. I don't know what's taken Major League Baseball so long, until I kind of figured out that the Dodgers can't terminate his contract. But if Major League Baseball suspends him for a year, the Dodgers won't have to pay him. You think there might be some collusion going on there? Yeah, I think so too. Sean Dugan, Terrence, everybody that tuned in today, I appreciate it. Tony and Cindy over at Hacienda. We're going to have to schedule a watch party, Joe. Maybe that first week of the season when the ball club's on the road before they get home. Maybe we can do a watch party over at Hacienda and have some good food and meet with all you folks over there and have a good time. Watch the Padre game on television and hopefully bring a W home. And also Tom Drake, a good buddy with Lacima Oil. I'm still waiting for cards so I can show you. I like to tease you with those cards. And for all of you that listen to the show today, I hope you listen well, because that's how you win the Did You Hear That contest. I know Sean earlier had said something about the four-man rotation was the norm. I know. I get it too. Miss the days when the four-man rotate. I mean, I used to schedule to watch certain games based on the pitching matchup. I never thought about doing that anymore. The only two guys that I guess, maybe Kershaw 5, 8 years ago. Max Scherzer, Verlander a couple of years ago, DeGrom, maybe. If they're scheduled to pitch against each other, that might be a game that I want to see. But you really don't have pitching matchups anymore. You don't have aces or two on each team, where if the Mets go in and play the Phillies, you've got Dwight Gooden against Steve Carlton. Forget about it. Those days are over, because starting pitching, for the most part, is over. I mean, that's been proven the last few years. And we could all go off on tangents about that stuff. So thank the sponsors. I thank you. Go to YouTube and subscribe. It's free. Like us, all that good stuff. If you don't like us anyway. And producer Joe, thanks as always. I appreciate it. And, you know, I'm bummed today. And I'm going to go just sit in a chair and think about Tommy Davis. Because if you weren't here at the top of the show, Tommy Davis passed away earlier today at the age of 83. One of the good guys. One of the good guys. Always participated in my golf tournament. Never said no. Rest in peace, TD. I love you, buddy. I love all of you. So take care of yourselves. Pass on the word about Dirty Kurt's Dugout. And please go to YouTube and subscribe, and you'll be doing us all a favor. So until probably Friday, I'm going to try to get a show in on Friday, even though I've got a little bit of a conflict, but I'm going to try to figure it out, because it's the day after opening day. So we want to be able to talk. And we'll do it before the game starts. So wherever the Padres are, it'll be at least an hour or possibly more. They open in Arizona. Do they, Joe? I don't even know. But it doesn't even matter if they're on the East Coast. We're still going to be on at 6 on East Coast time. So all you folks that are on East Coast time, it'll still be an hour before the game. So we're good. So I'm going to make Friday work. Joe, thank you as usual. And to all of you out there, until next time, have a good day.